Crazy to think back to like the fact that we posted that. I'm like so embarrassed, and I remember like looking at Dallin being like, don't tell them that we do YouTube because they're gonna look at our videos. Halloween.
I don't know about you, but I just cannot stop eating raisins. Have you tried a raisin lately? Try a raisin today.
Today we're talking about family vloggers monetizing adoption and why this is a particularly troubling strain of family vlogging.
Brought to you by raisins.
Brought to you by raisins. Today we're covering Bella Weems and Dallin Lambert, the couple behind the channel that originally went by the portmanteau Della Vlogs. They are family vloggers who recently monetized their adoption of a baby girl. Oh my god. Who I'll be referring to as Baby Girl. On Crooked Timber, we like to keep the identity of minors private, as their parents should, but don't. Maybe I won't move my hands excessively in this episode because I have tea. If this is your first time tuning in to Crooked Timber, lately we've been covering family vloggers and some of the ethical dilemmas in producing content that centers on family life. I'm a mom, and I am specifically interested in the performance of motherhood on social media. If that's something you're interested in, please subscribe and let us know if you have any ideas for other family vloggers we should cover.
Maybe we should do raisins so we get sponsored by raisins.
Bella and Dallin began posting nearly a decade ago and have since eked out careers as travel influencers and then chronicled their struggles with infertility and multiple rounds of IVF treatment. And since they are family vloggers who live in Arizona with names like Bella and Dallin, we will play a quick round of my favorite game show. Are they Mormon? Bow, 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 bow. Yes they are. Culturally Mormon, I think. Again, this is what I've gleaned from Instagram. You know, I don't know them personally. I don't know what's in their hearts. I have a few guesses. If the words YouTube and adoption together send a chill down your spine, then you may remember the strange case of Micah and James Stauffer, the family vloggers who specifically sought out a child with special needs for adoption and then rehomed him in 2020 following a series of mysterious incidents that they alluded to but obviously wouldn't detail for privacy reasons. Maybe you shouldn't have commodified his whole life and trauma for privacy reasons, but what do I know? You might have seen the HBO documentary on the Stauffers from January of this year, which was named after the YouTube video where they revealed that they had given up their adopted child, entitled An Update on Our Family. The Stauffers' announcement received a huge backlash that eventually killed their channel, due in part to the family's presumed millions of dollars that they generated from videos chronicling and idealizing their former child's adoption. There were also a few videos that made viewers think that they were not treating this child with a sensitivity that someone in his situation deserved. He had autism and could get easily overwhelmed, and after living in a Chinese orphanage for the first couple of years of his life, he had some food anxiety. And it seemed clear after a while that the Stauffers found these characteristics overly burdensome and even maybe annoying.
Have multiple meltdowns.
I'm not having a good day today.
We never tell you guys the truth. And that's why you don't see a lot in the vlog. He's probably having a meltdown. Are you done?
He's just having a bad day. He's a grumpy day today.
The Stauffer saga started a conversation specifically around adoption in the family vlogger space. I think it's fair to question the motivation to adopt when it comes with such a big financial incentive. I don't doubt that Dallin and Bella sincerely wanted to become parents, but I also think that they deeply and sincerely care about making a lot of money on YouTube and Instagram. Social media personalities know that pregnancy and adoption videos do really well. Della and Ballin. Mormons! Every Mormon couple has names that just melt in the mouth because they're names you've never heard before on people, not labradoodles. Let's cut there.
Before we cut, and I just want to point out and then erase your gross really old charger cable for your laptop.
I just leave that in to be real and raw. Alan and Bella started to post about their infertility at an uncertain time in their YouTube career, when they had decided that they couldn't stand posting any more fake couples pranks.
So yeah, there was a
pretty
time
wild.
where we staged everything, and I feel really bad about it. I have like a guilty conscience when it comes to thinking back to that time.
So we know that Dallin and Bella are motivated by numbers and have felt the pain of pivoting away from lucrative couples prank content.
I mean, I'm sure your viewership dropped. I'm sure when you stopped doing
That
pranks.
was really hard, actually. Like when Bella and I were like, we are done doing this. I remember we like sat
We
down
like
and we're
shook hands. We're like, we're never posting
never,
a prank
ever
again.
And when we made that shift, our viewership dropped massively.
We were getting no views on our videos all of a sudden.
Yeah,
But that's
which
a
was,
sacrifice we had to make in order to change. And now I feel like we've grown a whole new audience. So
Yeah.
it was worth it in the
It
end.
was 100% worth
It was
it.
like 6 months of like our viewership went from like let's say we got 100,000 views, we had like 10,000 views. Like it was
Wow.
like
If you don't, are you aware of this genre of YouTube?
I've seen a couple.
It was like, I feel like in the 2010s was mostly when it was really popular, and it would be something like us in the thumbnail, and you would be like, oh, and I would be like, oh no, and then they would say in the thumbnail like, she's cheating, caught red-handed, and people would be like, Molly cheated? Gotta click on this.
I thought you were talking about the kind of thing where, like, remember when we were in like lockdown and I tied a rubber band around the hose, around the hose around the sink, and then you turned on the sink and it sprayed you.
You have no idea how close you claim
That's a
you
couple's
came.
prank for the ages. That's one of the best
You
ones.
have no idea how thin of ice you were on. It's very early on in our dating.
You were being tested as well.
Okay, yeah. The ball was in your court. It's so interesting that they think fake pranks are unethical and made them feel guilty, but adopted baby content is totally fine. Looking back through their old YouTube, videos that Bella posted with her little sister performed especially well. When I was researching for our LeBrant video, I noticed that Cole LeBrant, when he started out, also used to film with his younger siblings. And I wonder if filming with a sibling is when these family vloggers first got the idea that younger faces equal views. Today, Bella's sister has a social media career of her own, with 76,000 followers on Instagram, and now that she's freshly 18, on OnlyFans. I know it's 2025, and making money on OnlyFans is a perfectly legitimate way to get by. It just makes me squeamish that she got her following because her sister, a nascent family vlogger, was posting her on her channel when she was still a child. And now, her Instagram posts, which I have looked at like this, between, I don't really want to consume too much of this, seem to be catering to the audience that is interested in schmerly schlegel posts.
Ew.
I've started to think that you shouldn't be allowed to do anything until you're 25. That's just my uptight mom take of the day. This should go without saying, but no matter how well an adoption works out, there is always an element of trauma. And it should be up to the adoptee how much of this part of their identity they want to reveal to the world. I think Bella and Dallin have a fundamental disregard for baby girls' feelings here. From their point of view, their adoption story is one of hope and triumph in the face of adversity. After 5 years of struggling with infertility, this beautiful couple finally has the adorable baby that completes their family.
5 minutes away from meeting our baby girl, and it's hitting me now. It's definitely hitting me. I'm feeling choked up and emotional. I just can't believe we've gotten to this point. This is our baby. This is who is supposed to be in our family, and she's here, and it's all worth it. Everything we've done is all worth it to be able to meet her, that beautiful little spirit.
I can only imagine the burden of having a huge audience believe that you had the perfect childhood, only to have a very different, or at least more nuanced take on your personal history. And you have to decide, do you either go along with it, do you be the perfect little show pony, or do you come out and you say, that's not how it was, and you have to deal with backlash from their die-hard fans. And unfortunately, Bella has already said, way too much. In this now deleted episode of the Matt and Abby Unplanned podcast, we've covered Matt and Abby in an earlier video if you're interested. I'll link that video below. Bella and Dallin reveal that the birth mother picked them specifically because of this little brochure they gave her about them, in which they had made certain promises to her about how they would raise their daughter. And what were those special promises, Dallin?
And what were those promises that you guys put in? Or is that something that you want to keep?
I don't even know.
personal?
I was trying to think of them. I can't remember. We met our book a couple months ago.
Not surprised, this video got deleted. I should mention that I learned about this video from the Dad Challenge podcast. I referenced him in another video, and a commenter said that they wish that I hadn't used him as a resource, or at least that I had mentioned that he has his own problems. I will say, I agree. I wish I had said that I don't recommend that you watch his channel. I really disagree with his approach to covering family channels. He doesn't make an effort to hide the identity of children, and in my opinion, re-exploits them. In this episode specifically, he made misogynistic comments about Bella's looks, which I think is par for the course for his videos.
They're gonna see your eyes that are really close together and be like, I don't look anything. I look normal.
Books for like young babies.
Stop making fun of her looks, Josh. You're a misogynist.
And if I were him, a man who objectively resembles an angry little egg, I don't know that I would be going after somebody's looks. I've made at this point a lot of videos talking about family vloggers, and there's so much to criticize. The parenting philosophies, the focus on sponsored content, the alleged scams. In some cases, maybe we'll get into some rumors, and I just don't see the point. Like, why their looks? Why whether or not they're attractive to you? Like, why is that relevant? And it's just there's just a certain kind of guy that just thinks he's put on earth by God to. Sorry.
The tea is not doing its job.
The tea's fired. There's an even more egregious moment when Bella calls the baby Precious, and Dad Challenge, his real name is Josh, goes, no, not Precious.
With the world's most beautiful, perfect baby, just
saying.
Feel so.
Not the world's most perfect baby, okay?
I would like to mom challenge you to fuck off. We don't curse on Crooked Timber. Except in emergencies. I should make a whole video on commentary channels I find objectionable. I think that there's a lot to criticize in the commentary space. Criticize the criticizers. Back to Bella and Dallin and their electric on-screen chemistry.
I've had my own business since I was 14 years old, and
That's why I call her the Jefe.
What does that even mean?
It means the boss.
The boss?
Yeah, so you're the new Jefe.
I have never heard you call me that before.
No, like starting right now.
Okay, so starting right now.
Yeah. Come on,
I'm
Bella,
the
you're
boss.
supposed to go along with this. Yeah, I've been calling you that for like 4 years.
Oh yeah. Dylan's been calling me that for 4 years.
There we go.
Even though we've been married for 3. But anyway, okay.
I've known you for like 5.
I know.
Oh, man,
I'm
you're
just
ruining
kidding.
this
I'm just
vlog,
kidding.
Bella. We're not flowing.
Like all family vloggers, Bella and Dallin don't seem to have an intrinsic motivation for making videos. To me, they come off as pretty flat, and while their content is sunny and upbeat, it's also uninspired. It seems to either be an invitation to mawkishly adore their family or buy something from Target. Ideally, both.
I feel like we try to do our best to soak up every moment. Why is it always the simplest things that turn into core memories? That's why we always have natural apple dye-free children's Tylenol and Zarbee's triple action hydration drinks on hand.
In my opinion, they simply want to dazzle with beauty and raw emotion, and then bing bang boom, buy children's Tylenol. Looking at Bella's recent posts on Instagram, nearly half of them are ads for Target or CVS or one of those powders that makes your water not taste like water. Like I said, I'm not going to say their kid's name, but I will say that the name that they chose is dreadfully on the nose for people who make a lot of money posting on Instagram.
Chatham?
They basically named her sponsored post. Bella and Dallin did have a brief period where they managed to post some truly shocking and dramatic content when they revealed that their first attempt to adopt had turned out to be a scam. Basically, they got an Instagram DM from someone who claimed to be an expectant mom looking to give up her twin girls.
The past 2 months, we believed that we were gonna be adopting identical twin girls. We were so excited. We got everything prepared. We got our nursery ready. We have 2 car seats. And we just come to find out that it was all a big scam. And this woman was not only scamming us, but she was scamming multiple other families.
They allege that she went to great lengths to convince them that she was the real deal. She allegedly wore a fake bump and that she encouraged them to hold a gender reveal and to go to birthing classes. But there were signs that something wasn't right. The mom had refused to meet with Bella and Dallin's adoption agency, which it turns out is a pretty common red flag of adoption fraud.
Little did we know, she was kind of pushing off those appointments to meet in person, like something would always come up, but she did officially agree to go to one of those appointments, and it was within the next couple days before we actually found out what happened.
But what's so mind-blowing is the excuses she had for not going into the agency were so real and so thought after that we believed them, and we shouldn't have.
They ended up posting in a group devoted to uncovering adoption scams, which are way more common than I realized, and found out that the same woman had ensnared other families.
To find out that she had been talking to this family for about 2 months.
We came to find out that this other family actually had a gender reveal as well, and this expecting mom was at the gender reveal with them, with all their family there. This expecting mom went and helped them set up a nursery and was just heavily involved in their lives as well.
Bella and Dallin have been kind of cagey about whether or not they're pursuing legal action, like basically like we can't say, but hint hint, like we are, but that's where they've left it so far. I know a lot of people on Reddit think this was all made up. It is a weird story, but they are really dumb. And they probably do get a lot of offers via Instagram direct messages. Maybe they're so lost in the sauce that they just thought, hey, why not buy a baby off of Instagram? What could go wrong? Probably not be shocked to learn that family vlogging was not Bella Weems' first foray into exploiting child labor. You're gonna love this because you love child labor.
Yeah. Get those kids to work.
She started a multi-level marketing scheme called Origami Owl when she was just a teenager.
When I was 14, I went to my parents and I asked them, I was like, hey, I don't have enough money. Do you think you could buy me a car when I turn 16? And they said, no way. And so I was like, okay, well, how am I gonna earn the money? And they said, oh, you could babysit or maybe start a business or something. And I was like, start a business.
What a precocious little scammer. Origami Owl offers customizable charm bracelets that some people say are quite cheap looking, poor quality. This is just what I've seen on Reddit. I have no direct knowledge. In case you weren't aware, MLMs are shady businesses that rely on recruiting new members to make money, rather than generating revenue based on a real demand for their product. Recruits are supposed to sell products and then kick up some of the money they earn to the reps who recruited them. In this business model, only the very earliest recruits and founding members can make any money. MLMs lure in new members with a promise of a glamorous work-from-home business opportunity. They do not disclose to new recruits that they are unlikely to make very much money, if any at all. Technically, MLMs are not illegal pyramid schemes because they offer a product. But in my opinion, they rely heavily on deception and should still be illegal. But they're not. But every lawyer who works for an MLM really wants me to point out that like it's different from an illegal pyramid scheme. Is it? I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a gal with Google.
With a cup of tea.
I'm just a gal with a cup of tea.
Instead of waving her arms around.
And hands that never move. Bella co-founded Origami Owl with her mom, Chrissy Weems.
And so after she earned some money, she said, it's going to take forever. And we said, hey, what if you start a little business? She's like, what does that even mean? And we said, let's research. And that's what we did.
Really? Now, do you or your husband have this business acumen to like get these types of things off the ground? Is that a skill set you possess?
Well, without a doubt, we're both, I would say, serial entrepreneurs, both very tenacious and driven where business and business and creativity are concerned.
She's like a stage mom, but for business. Chrissy Weems is a questionable character herself.
Weems?
We've already been over Weems.
Chrissy Weems? I know. But
what's the plural of Weems?
The Weems, like a long
Weemuses. She faced charges in 2011 for tampering with evidence in a case brought against her friend for allegedly a teenage boy.
No!
She allegedly helped that friend, a woman named Susan Brock, delete incriminating emails while Susan remained behind bars. Chrissy and Bella have never publicly addressed these charges, which are common knowledge. Anyone who knows anything about this family knows about this scandal. Chrissy unabashedly appears in posts alongside her daughter and granddaughter.
What is happening?
This is your granddaughter.
Where are you and what is happening right now? Are you kidding me right now?
These are not people with a lot of shame. Surprise, surprise.
These are horrible people again.
Oh no, horrible people again. Sorry, horrible people are what get the clicks, Andrew. But back to Origami Owl. Bella specifically targeted kids to become designers.
I had the opportunity at age 14 to work alongside my mom, in that time when it wasn't necessarily popular. And it truly taught me a lot about working hard.
We want you to have the same opportunity that Bella did when she was 14 years old.
I'm writing cards to all of these kids who actually are a part of my company as well, because you can actually start being a designer, or we call them owlets and bros, at 11 years old. So these are kids who are 11 to 17 years old who are a part of our Young Entrepreneur program. And so I'm writing them some letters because they actually were a force for good this month.
Don't you want to be like me, a business teen? This is my business gesture for some reason. Where's that tea?
You better hold that tea.
Another hallmark of MLMs is the shiny, happy people who represent the companies who love to talk about business. But they do it in such a vague way that it's hard to glean any actual advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. In my opinion, that's because they don't want to tell you their actual business model. So you're left with this baby business bimbo babble.
Question, how do I get started in my business? I think that what's so important is just, you have to just go for it, because a lot of people try to have this like perfect business plan, or they try to have this perfect like plan for their whole business or whatever, and then they never get started. And I feel like once you just take the leap of faith and just go for it, that's when good things happen. And so you just never know what can happen for you in your life unless you try.
I personally believe
You'll perhaps be glad to know that things are not looking good for the Bella Weems business empire. This past spring, Buff Bunny, an activewear line, canceled a collaboration with Bella and her daughter. They did not reveal the exact reason, but apparently their Discord had been flooded with Bella's critics. Thank goodness the company that owns Origami Owl filed for bankruptcy in February. They are evidently restructuring and moving away from the MLM model.
We're in a gig economy. So we were an early gig economy, and now with the gig economy, it's really hurt the overall social selling industry, because you can go get in the car and pick up Instacart or Uber, Upwork, Fiverr, all those things, right? So it shifted a little bit, and as we saw the shift, the business really started to decline.
This is unsurprising. MLMs have a limited lifespan based on the ever-shrinking pool of potential recruits. I have no doubts that there are couples with similar stories to Bella and Dallin, couples who can't get pregnant and then adopt, couples who earnestly want to help other couples in a similar position. These are probably channels that don't have big followings and who aren't attempting to make a living off YouTube. But in the context of the Bella and Dallin vlogging enterprise, we did not fall out of a coconut tree. The emphasis on sponsored content, the mom, the MLM, the sister, the whole picture makes my skin crawl. I think that we, the audience, have a right to be suspicious. Child exploitation has been the name of the game for quite some time. That's all I have for you today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on adoption, especially as it pertains to family vloggers. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you hit the bell notification, you'll be notified when we post again. We never know when we're gonna post. I think we're on a roll. We've been doing like one main channel video and then one members video a month, which I think
We've been busy.
For parents of two who are not full-time YouTubers, I think that's pretty good. Oh, and we have members only videos. If you want to see extra videos from us, become a Timberoo. I hope you're done folding the laundry or sweeping or whatever chore you were doing while you had us on in the background. I see a lot of comments from people saying that they like having a sauna's background when they do a boring chores, which for me is the highest praise. Thanks for letting us fill the space in your head that would otherwise be flooded with anxiety yet again.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.